My body apparently hates me, so nothing better to do with a sick day than...
Where was law enforcement? Either they let the people do this or they were incompetent.
It begins now.
Oh, you lost so much of your manliness. Oh, okay.
Oh, what the fuck?
Hey, stop.
Say games can change things.
Hey, Yankee. Got a name?
Leon.
Quiet, type, eh? I'm Luis Serra. Guess you, me, picked the wrong spot to vacation, eh? Hey! Stop it! You move, I move. I'm beat up enough as it is. I can see you're thinking.
Wanna play a game?
Bet you've been in spots like this before, huh? I guess you're here looking for someone. One more guess. Maybe some missing señorita?
Young girl. Talk. Now.
All right. See, heard chatter about moving a señorita.
Moving her. Where?
Who knows? But later, saw some men dragging someone to the old church. Hanging with you.
Shit. Really? Okay, we're doing this. This is the thing we're doing.
Hey, we're not done here!
Later, amigo.
Yeah, I'm a Spanish asshole, yeah!
Shit, they took my gear.
Oh, well, it's pleasant. Just to emphasize the point. You got shit, dude. Oh, Coppertail.
I've located Baby Eagle. It sounds like she's being kept in some church.
Great. That's good news.
I heard it from this guy I met. He said his name is Luis Serra.
Don't mind me, I'm just kicking the box.
I need you to run a background check.
Wilco Condor 1. I'll see what I can find. In the meantime, make your way to that church.
Right. I'm probably due for confession anyway. Condor 1, out.
Excellent. Nothing else better to do, so...
And a bunch of people stormed into the Capitol building.
Chapter 2.
That's all that matters. Call it whatever you want, call it whatever you will. The border is open.
You got mission.
There's no border. There's no law enforcement. You get arrested on the whim.
Oh, cool!
Because
I've never been a criminal before.
It is factions using the institutions of power for personal gain, and there are numerous factions, and they're all fighting, and they're all stealing. And sure, in the meantime, we can enjoy a nice steak dinner. Let me make something clear for all of you guys. Many of you who watch my videos know this already, and for those that don't, I'll explain. I encourage anybody to look at the history of civil war, conflict, and crisis.
Please tell me you got a shotgun.
When Syria was embroiled in civil war and sarin gas attacks had struck in urban centers, nightclubs were still happening. People were still partying. Drinks were still being had. Cars were still driving. Food was still being delivered. And you could look at videos out of Damascus, and you didn't even know Aleppo was in ruins if you just watched these videos.
Oh, okay, cool.
Syrian Tourism Board was still encouraging people to come party their nightclubs. When I was in Egypt, while people are in Tahrir Square and a revolution was
I did that poorly, apparently.
Being removed 2 blocks away at McDonald's. Everyone gets mad when I call it McDonald's. It's a slang term for it's McDonald's. I know. There was a guy eating a cheeseburger, watching soccer. They call
That's not how you do it.
At the Hilton, there's a casino. Egyptians aren't allowed inside. I went into the Hilton in Egypt.
Get a welcome bonus up to £150!
Okay. You just keep doing rounds, mate.
Join 32 Red today.
And I went into the casino, and there are people playing cards. And I just thought it was absolutely fascinating. It says you can't, outside, Egyptian citizens are not allowed inside because gambling's forbidden. And I'm like, there's a revolution outside. These people were just, they didn't care. What are you doing here? It's crazy to see. People think that when a country is falling apart, when there's a revolution, when there's a civil war, that everyone's shooting each other in the streets. And that is not the case.
If you haven't got a red herb, then I'm going to be, no, potatoes, okay.
Things.
I'm sure they're coming.
Which is why I find so much of what's happening so fascinating. That when I talk about civil war in this country, civil unrest, riots, revolutions, people say, it's not gonna happen. And I'm just like, you know what's probably different between my perception, my perspective, and yours? Having actually been to countries that were in civil war or revolution, the precursors to civil war, I'll try and keep it light, I saw the exact same thing.
Okay.
I'm in Egypt.
If it's double steel doors, chances are you're safe at the time being.
A car to Heliopolis and went to the mall, went shopping, and we went to and got fast food. And everyone in this mall was acting like nothing was going on. Yet their country was embroiled in revolution. People were being shot and killed in the streets. The military then went out and started massacring Muslim youth.
Yeah, I guess
students.
That's a later thing.
But what can a person do? They have to carry on with their lives.
Okay, no, apparently it's an L thing.
Bring food home. This is what I see now in the United States. We know what happened. We know what they're doing. We know who was involved. We know what's happening with January 6th. We know what Merrick Garland is doing. It doesn't matter that he's the Attorney General. All that matters is the Democrat corporatist establishment is willing to wield power. They're willing to smack a person down with their cudgel and beat them into submission, and the right is incapable and unwilling to protest even. I think things are changing. And I do think that although the night is really dark,
that's not going to help the situation, Annie.
I think we come out of this victorious. Because what happens, and this is scary, I think what happens in the United States will be somewhat different from what we see in other countries. Because people are unwilling to fight so aggressively, except for the far left. I think what happens is regular people get so angry with the corruption, they elect a strong man. They elect Donald Trump. And then Donald Trump comes in and starts locking people up. That's what we need to happen. I don't care what Durham says. I demand that when Donald Trump be elected, he go in.
You know what? I'm going to attempt to rescue some of that gear.
If they have legitimate crimes they've committed,
but
we start
I think it may help in my endeavors.
I don't care if you're a member of Congress, the Department of Justice, you name it. Intelligence agencies, IRS. I don't care if you're congressional staffers. Evidence of criminal activity, you get indicted. You're a congressional staffer, and you trafficked false information which led to advancement of criminal prosecution that was knowingly false. Lock them up.
Okay,
you lied to the FBI. Lock them up. All of them. Fire the rest. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.
Yeah, badass. I've got so much shit. Fine.
Taking these back.
No, I don't have you. Well, this
saves me a ton of time because it only takes like 5 minutes to make. Take a scoop of this, take some water, put it in the microwave, 3 minutes, let it sit for 5 minutes, bam. It's done and it is delicious.
What else we got here?
I'm going to say the Thai green curry, also closely followed by mac and cheese. That was a pleasant surprise for me. It really has made an impact. So very busy week.
So it only takes a minute. It's really good for you and it's cheap. And it just tastes so good, guys.
Got 4 kitchen knives. Do you need 4 kitchen knives? I'm guessing not.
Yesterday, the long-awaited Durham report was released. And to be honest, we didn't learn a whole lot. I mean, we kind of did, but you all knew this. You all knew that powerful forces in the Democratic Party were lying to smear Trump to frame him as a Russian asset.
So, guessing I could get rid of some of these kitchen knives, but I don't like to...
Over here, stranger.
Oh.
Who's that?
Kari Lake has scored a massive victory. Her lawsuit is moving forward. She will have to present her evidence. But of course, the media is losing their minds. Now, this is obviously to the gubernatorial race in Arizona, for which Kari Lake says that she has the evidence that there were problems in Arizona, and we know, as presented in court, there were a lot of problems. Right, the question is whether or not those problems rise to the level of Kari Lake should be governor. Well, I'm being intentionally nondescript on my position because I want you to see the news story, see how they're responding to it, and I want to show you potential evidence that is being shown by Kari Lake so you can decide. I have my opinions, you should have yours, but let me show you the news, and then
the merchant turned into a fucking
I want to get your opinions on this, so comment below. I'm going to show you, Kari Lake posted signatures. I'm going to show you Katie Hobbs' signature verification guidelines, and then we'll have a conversation about where this court case goes. Now, I am going to give you strong opinions on how the court case is being handled, because I think the media is being disingenuous, but let's read. Newsweek says, and this one's kind of funny, Kari Lake scores huge win as Arizona election case heads to court. Failed Arizona gubernatorial candidate Kari Lake has claimed a victory in her legal challenge against the race's results, as her last standing election misconduct claim was allowed to move forward in court on Monday. Lake, who ran with Trump's endorsement, lost Arizona's latest gubernatorial race to Democrat Katie Hobbs by more than 17,000 votes, but refused to concede. She filed a lawsuit against the election results, claiming that alleged irregularities in Maricopa County stopped her from winning in the state's most populous county.
Not hat runt.
Though her legal challenge was repeatedly rejected in the state, first by a judge and then by an appeals court, Lake has appealed to have her case heard in court. In March, the Arizona Supreme Court threw out 6 of 7 claims in her legal challenge by the Republican nominee, but kept the case alive by ordering the trial court to conduct an additional review of the county's procedures for verifying signatures on mail-in ballots. That is to say, all this time, Kari Lake's lawsuit has been moving forward. Now, what the media has done and what the left has said is Kari Lake loses, court case thrown out. Let me explain something very simply that you need to understand in terms of the context of this case as we move forward. It is not atypical that when someone is suing someone or something, an entity, an organization, a government, that they will many shots as possible. They will say, we are going to list 10 counts. So let's say you get defamed. Do you simply present one count of defamation, or do you try and present as many as possible because you're hoping to get one of them through? It appears to me that's what Kari Lake's team did. They identified as many as possible, some with strong chances, some with weak, and then as the courts eliminated some remained. All in all, the analysis is Kari Lake's lawsuit advances. Once again, it is advancing. There's no reason for me to come out and be like, Judge rejects Kari Lake's claims. And by the way, he's allowing it to advance. That makes no sense. How am I informing you if I headline the article or this video, Kari Lake loses in court, and then all the way at the bottom of the paragraph says, the judge is allowing the court case to move forward, but we consider this a defeat. This is the disservice the media has been doing.
There must be more than 3 rats in this entire fucking village.
The case is scheduled to be heard 9 a.m. on Wednesday, May 17th in Maricopa County. Now, she may lose. I don't know. She may lose. On Monday, Maricopa County Superior Court Judge Peter A. Thompson, who rejected Lake's lawsuit back in December, approved one count in Lake's lawsuit. You see what they do here? It's rejected, but approved. Amazing. Regarding signature verification procedures in the county to continue in court. Look at it. Who rejected Lake's lawsuit, but approved one count and allowed it to move forward. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Lake received the news triumphantly on Twitter. She announced huge. Following Supreme Court ruling, Maricopa County Judge granted Kari Lake the opportunity to expose election fraud in the court. Let's see the evidence. We're going to court. Get ready, she added in a later tweet. Political consultant Colton Duncan joined her in celebrating her result in court. I'm blown away, he wrote, that Kari Lake promised the world that she would fight her election case to the bitter end and do everything in her power to expose the fraud. She's not like most politicians. Of course. She was telling the truth, Now her case goes to trial. Again, I am blown away. Well, the only thing I can say right now is I need to see the evidence as presented in court.
Okay.
So far, it is not.
Tell you what, lady, I'll give you a heads
up. So whether
up.
or not we can say anything definitively, there's been no adjudication. We are in that process. Of course, YouTube, at I think it was like January 17th or something of 2021, they said from now on, no more challenging the election of 2020.
All right,
at that point, I think Joe Biden was like about to be inaugurated, so I get it. Now, but at the same time, there should still be a lot of leeway for lawsuits or whatever. Not said anything about this, but we're currently awaiting adjudication to be finalized to see what the courts actually say. But let me just say, this is very, very interesting, and I think there's some things that we must bring up. Lake's attorneys claim that Maricopa County accepted thousands of ballots that had been previously rejected by workers for having mismatched signatures. It had first been dismissed by a lower court that said Lake had waited too long to raise the claim, but was revived by the state Supreme Court decision in March to ask the lower court to decide if there's any other reason to dismiss it. Newsweek has contacted Lake's team for comment by email. I want to say, head over to youtube.com/.
Yes.
The latest episode of the Culture War podcast is live with Carrie Lake.
I'm feeling good about myself, Leon. How about you?
And we only lightly touch on this stuff.
Well, look at you.
I'm glad that people are checking it out. I think fantastic. I think she would be an amazing VP for President Trump. However, it appears that she may be going for the Senate seat instead.
Stop being
which,
creepy, dude.
Is probably easier to win, and she probably will win. I'm excited to see that happen. And then maybe, I know that the DeSantis and Trump people are feuding, but maybe Trump DeSantis is the ticket. But this is interesting. The court dismissed the mismatched signatures, saying she waited too long. Huh? How do you wait too long? She filed the lawsuit immediately.
Wait, I got
too long.
Health case.
This is likely why the state Supreme Court said, "What are you talking about? You waited too long." Or is
this the new health case?
She filed after this happened, and she got information. She acted within a reasonable amount of time. They then told the lower court, "Is there any other reason to dismiss us? Because that one ain't good enough." They said, "No." Boom. Moving forward. This should get interesting.
Not bad, right?
Lake will have a chance to prove whether the signature verification procedures were mishandled by Maricopa County officials and whether this affected enough votes to potentially overturn the election's result. Governor Hobbs has argued that Lake doesn't have evidence that specific mail-in ballots were illegally counted. Maricopa County officials told Newsweek the county is not commenting on litigation at this time.
3 grenades.
Well, let's take a look at where we're at and what's currently going on. Carrie Lake granted new trial must prove Maricopa County ignored signature verification rules. If she can prove it, she can. If she can't, she can't. This is what the court process is for. I am not going to sit here and say Carrie Lake won or did not win. I'm going to say, as of right now,
I'm invisible
Katie
like a
Hobbs
ninja.
Is the governor of Arizona. It was certified. She was approved and all that stuff. On that basis, she is the winner.
I know this guy's going to see me anyway, so
I'm not going to say Carrie Lake is right, Katie Hobbs right. I don't know. I'm going to let a judge decide. Now, I don't know what happens if Carrie Lake provides the evidence. What do they do? Do they remove
that can only mean
Hobbs
good
from
things.
Office? No idea.
Right,
she got to prove it. I love how the media is responding to the news. Take a look at those top stories. Carrie Lake's election challenge heads to trial. Well, that's a really great headline. Carrie Lake's huge win. Well, okay. Carrie Lake election lawsuit moves forward. Carrie Lake granted new trial. Interesting. It seems like even the leftist outlets are saying she's won so far. It's a battle, not the war. I want to show you a bit of the story. Let me see if we have these opinion pieces from a few days ago. Carrie Lake election challenge shouldn't proceed, Arizona officials say. Now, why is that? Why is that? Courts have dismissed most of the lawsuits by Judge arguments whether or not Lake's final claim should move to trial. Attorneys representing Arizona election officials and Democratic Governor Katie Hobbs say Lake's allegations that the election was rigged is based on unsubstantiated speculation. Here's the point with this one.
Oh, where the fuck did you come from?
They're saying it shouldn't proceed. It's a lawsuit. Why did AP not headline this? Carrie Lake presents, justification for advancement of suit.
Okay, you jump on walls. That's cool.
With the left. That's what I find interesting. Now, Carrie Lake claims that she had some new bombshell evidence. Apparently, that was dismissed, and they're going to be moving forward instead with signature verification, which I want to get to. I want to, here we go. I got to show you this one. Carrie Lake from AZ Central. Carrie Lake gets one final chance to prove she was robbed. Don't expect much. The headline said, I wouldn't hold my breath. So why? They say Lake's attorneys claim they have evidence. I'm guessing she didn't actually read the judge's tall order. She must demonstrate at trial, pursuant to her concessions, that Maricopa County's higher-level signature reviewers conducted no signature verification or curing,
oh, go away.
and in doing so had systematically failed to comply with the law. This is, of course, in addition to the requirement that she prove that this alleged complete failure to conduct verification resulted in a change to the outcome of the gubernatorial election. That's actually on a tall order. Lake's attorneys claim to have evidence that shows at least 175,000 early mail-in ballots were illegally counted in a race she lost by 17,117 votes. That's not a tall order. This is because the county ignored a requirement that it verified the early ballots were signed by actual voters.
Hey,
never mind that voters can verify that. To prove its point, Team Lake points to what it claims are phony signatures on ballots in the 2020 election. That'll be a non-starter given that Lake ran in 2022, not 2020. Okay. She is also relying on 3 lower-level 2022 election workers
shit.
They threw out 15 to 40 signatures, only to watch as those signatures eventually were accepted. This is the important point. Is the evidence presented publicly by Carrie Lake's team, is it about 2020 or 2022? That's what I find to be interesting. Let me pull up this here tweet from Carrie Lake saying, bombshell discovery. Today's Senate testimony confirms nearly 40,000
I'm going to take by silence. That means things are going quite well for me.
Signatures reviewed. I think all the election deniers out there deserve an apology. The question is, are these signatures pertaining to 2022 or 2020? It looks like 2020. And that's what I think is important here. Now, you can argue that these signatures are no good, and there's still a lot to be said about what these signatures are. In this image she posted, we can see they're dated 2020, not 2022 when Carrie Lake ran. So I'm interested to see what evidence she has to actually argue signatures were improperly approved. Apparently there are 3 witnesses. Let's see if that's enough. I gotta be honest. That woman said, don't hold your breath. They're a little crass.
Oh, damn. Oh, damn. Oh, damn. Oh, damn. Oh, damn. Oh, damn.
I am very, very eager to see the evidence. What I can say is, if this image is correct, it looks like in 2020, there are many signatures that don't match. The question is, this is only, what, 6? Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 signatures presented that appear to not match. Interestingly, this one right here, it looks like it says 88. It looks very similar to the signature up here, which looks like it just says and.
Yeah.
The signatures don't seem to match at all. But hold on there. It's an interesting thing to point out on social media. The left responded by saying that Carrie Lake was doxing people. Okay, there's no names on any of these. You can't read who the names are or who the signatures are. I don't know. This is publicly available information that was posted on many news websites. I don't believe this is at all in any way doxing anybody because you can't even read what the name is. But just because there are 8 signatures does not mean there is enough evidence to suggest 17,000.
God, they seem like such a friendly bunch.
Carrie Lake is claiming they have, what was the number, 175,000? I believe that's what it was. 170, they claim they have evidence that shows 175,000 early mail-in ballots were illegally counted in a race she lost by 17,000. Perhaps the reason Carrie Lake did not publish those ballots is because they are in active dispute. 2020 has been resolved. They say nothing to see here. She posts 8 signatures. If it's just 8, I'm not surprised that some slipped through the cracks. You know, a lot of people don't like Bill Barr. He said in 2020 there was fraud, but not nearly enough to have had an outcome to affected the outcome. Here's what I think.
All right.
A lot of people talk about
I'm going to assume what that means.
Fraud, and what you need to understand about this whole narrative is that the initial narrative presented was hacked voting machines, switched voting machines, manipulation, Dominion servers, and all this other crazy stuff that I just believe is just too ridiculous.
Yeah.
The narrative changed. As more and more of the diehard Trump supporters kept saying will be inaugurated in March, the true election day. None of it ever happened because that's crazy. Of course it wasn't going to happen. Now, the fraud narrative wasn't actually about fraud. It was Democrat manipulation. But look, I'm with you. If you want to argue that the Democrats changed laws, along with many Republicans, to benefit themselves and hurt Donald Trump, we know that's true. I mean, an article in Time magazine.
Wow, very low on
to save the election, where they talk about how they changed rules, they made it easier for Democrats to get votes, and then they won.
That's me.
No ballots. Now, many people say the signature verification thing is fraud. What I think, simply put, no, it's that the standards were not applied the way you want them to be applied.
Okay, I suppose we should do something about that rather quickly.
When it comes to mail-in ballots that come in and the signatures seem irregular, there can be people who are much more lax and people who are much more strict. And if the Democrats want a Democrat to win in a Democrat district, they may look at a signature between Katie Hobbs and say, you know what?
Oh, I thought he was dead.
It looks good enough for me.
Go away.
Then they pull up Carrie Lake and say, these seem a little suspect. And therein lies the problem. The people who are doing signature verification could be biased themselves. But that is not an issue of fraud. It's a procedural issue with human bias. You may argue it's incorrect. That's where I think the adjudication comes in. If Carrie Lake can say, these were not properly verified, and then show a judge, and the judge can look and say, yeah, that's not a signature, that doesn't match, well, then there you go. And there's an easy way to understand. I have this document, Secretary Katie Hobbs' signature guide, 20, saying, here's how you verify signatures. Take a look at these things. Type of writing, was it cursive, was it printed? That's question. Speed of writing, was it written really fast and shaky? Could be questionable. Overall spacing, was the spacing weird? That could be not correct.
If nothing else, this is a great money-making simulator.
If there's no fraud ever, what's the point? It's because sometimes there is. We're looking for it. The issue may be not that there was widespread fraud, but that when it came to normal ballots, which would be rejected, some of them legitimate ballots, biased individuals choose some yes, choose some no. It can show that the signature verification process was not done.
Really? Who else?
Or in essence, you could argue it wasn't done at all. Because how do you determine whether it was good or bad? If someone presents two signatures, here's what might happen. Carrie Lake will say, take a look at these two signatures, her lawyer will. Do they match? A judge will say no. Then, how could someone have done a verification process if a reasonable person concludes these are not the same signature? That's it. So as USA Today says, it's a tall order to prove they didn't do it. Not really. Show the judge signatures are inherently different, and he might be like, yeah, nobody checked this. They just were pushed through. And there's witnesses claiming that's the case. I've not seen the evidence. I'm not saying it is true. I'm saying, let's see it. I gotta be honest. I think, in all likelihood, probably gets rejected. I really do. I'm surprised it made it this far, for a variety of reasons. But we'll see. Because I think the appropriate way we handle this stuff is through the courts. And that's what we're looking at now. Considering Katie Hobbs has a guide to verifying signatures, if in any way
I know there's at least one guy left
show
here.
more than 17,117 ballots did not adhere to Hobbs's own standard of signature verification, she can make the argument it was not done. Because if you take a look at this, you've got the slant of writing. It says slant of writing. Cynthia leans right, Cynthia leans left. She can argue the book says this would not be verified, yet it went through. Ergo, nobody verified these signatures. Okay? See what the judge says. I do not know that Carrie Lake has the evidence. I don't.
Ah, there you are.
She does. Okay, well, then bring it in court.
Oh no, it's a flag.
I don't care what your claims are. Prove it or don't. I'm looking forward to seeing how this one plays out. Spelling, of course, plays a role, how the letters are spelled. Internal spacing. Here we have size or proportions of a letter. There are so many standards. Look at this. Curve, loops, and cross points. I think we have a New York Times article. This one's fascinating. It's from October 7th, 2020. And it says 2 of these mail ballot signatures
if you can get me with a throwing axe through here, then I will.
The point they're trying to make in this is that
this game.
It's not easy. I'm looking at 11 signatures, and I have to find of them the 2 that come from the same person. Here's the issue. No person verifying a signature on a ballot is going to be looking at 11 different signatures. They're going to be looking at 2. The first, the registration for the voter. Now, of these 11, which one is the original? Give me the original and then tell me which one to compare it to, and I can do it relatively easily. Tell me to go through all of these and check the handwriting style and determine which ones came from the same person is a much bigger task. This seems awfully manipulative. However, I'd like to point out to the ease at which still a reasonable person can conclude two signatures match. Take a look at this number 4, for instance. You can see the pen stroke begins at the top. Notice the denser circular point at the top. That's where the ink is built up and they pressed it to the page. They then draw it down, and then it looks like they start here, loop around. Actually, no, I think I'm wrong about that. This one's actually interesting in how they did it. They loop around like this. I see. They went down, then up and around, and then you can see where they start and where they stop. You can then look at all the other signatures and see which ones we can exclude. For example, number 6
he's obviously got higher ground, so just
to the pen as opposed to 1.
Fuck it, I'll be back later.
Looks like it's realm or something like that. And you can see a number 6, it goes up and around for the R and then stops.
Ah, there we go.
Starts at the top again. Do any of the other signatures match that? They do not. So, I'm not going to sit here and do a 20-minute analysis to try and figure out which ones. Let's just, we'll just do a cursory look. This one's got a sharp point, so I don't think that one's probably it. Sharp point, sharp point. I'm gonna make this one's a slanted R versus an upright R here. So which one could it be?
So apparently I can parry.
It's not 6. I don't think it's 6.
Thank you for
2, maybe not. And if using a different pen, that could be even more difficult.
Where to me?
Perhaps it's 3 and 9. Probably not. Oh, look at that. I was right. How about that? I'm actually surprised I got that.
I'm
In the 2 minutes that I was looking at this, I accurately determined which signature. I'm impressed by myself. I thought I was going to be wrong. I said going through 11 to try and figure out which ones were real.
I tricked myself plenty already, you little swine.
There you go. If I can do it, and I can do it that fast, imagine a person who's going through it and actually has the time to look down and match a single signature saying, base signature, does this one match? Yes or no? It's really easy. So this will be the question.
Oh, wow.
So apparently I got it right, I guess. That's okay. I find here we go, actually. Oh, it looks like this
love yourself a hexagon slave
this
shot.
One goes up. You don't know how I was able to get this? It's because of the Katie Hobbs signature verification PDF that I was just reading. I noticed that the slant of the letters in these are the same, and the other ones are all kind of different. In which case I said, it's probably these
since
two.
I'm such a big fan of a hexagon-shaped slot, I suppose I should investigate.
Long story short, let's wrap this up. Carrie Lake is going to trial. Good for her. Let's see if she can prove, her claims in court. I think there are arguments to be made about the Arizona election which show you need heavy reform in that 19-inch ballots printed on 20-inch paper caused mass chaos. And they say, oh, but it didn't have an impact. I'm sure people left. We don't know how many. How do you track that stuff? We don't want disenfranchised voters. So it doesn't matter what the number is, fix it. As for Carrie Lake, let's see. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 4 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.
Are you treasure here? You said our treasure. I never see our treasure. It's going to be in the rafters somewhere. I don't really care that much. Yo. And I am running out of ammo pretty freaking quickly. stranger. Baby. Okay, I've got a little key. I've got a tiny, limp key. What is this going to do for me?
Bud Light is culturally dead. Taking a look at its sales for this week, it's down 27%. We got this image coming out of a CVS. Ain't nobody buying Bud Light. Clearance on special. You know what? Dude, I noticed the same thing. I didn't think twice about it.
I did open that.
I just thought it was normal.
That is a thing I think I did.
Store,
so what did that do?
In the front, it was like barbecue stuff. And it was like, get out there and barbecue. And there's a big thing of Bud Light. I didn't really think about it. My assumption was just that it's beer up near the barbecue stuff. Now looking at all this, I'm like, wait.
So I'm going to assume, I think I opened
the liquor section in the front of the store? Okay,
that is going to be progression level area.
It's because Bud Light's doomed. Look, people are going to buy Bud Light. Their sales are down around 27.7% year over year. It's been getting increasingly worse. It's
Do not explode on my head.
Yo, their sales are down nearly 30%. Can you believe that? Wow. Take a look at this story. Bud Light sales falling by as much as 20% a week. Could be the new normal after Dylan Mulvaney debacle unless something drastic changes. Industry analysts warn as cases lie untouched and unsold in Florida CVS. Oh boy. I was reading this article from the street. I love it. New Bud Light data suggests outrage against the company is waning. I called it. I called this. They're lying, of course. What I said was a certain number of people are going to say no more Bud Light. It will spread to their friends as more people learn about what's going on. And then it will probably taper off, right? Now they're saying it's waning simply because most people who don't like, who would be pissed off about this, have stopped drinking. Take a look at this data. Brian Sazi says Bud Light sales bottoming.
Thank you.
You've got Budweiser, which dropped 5.9%, 10.7, 13.1, 15.9, and then the next week 14.5. But then take a look at, so these are all of their brands dropping. This is really, really funny. You had Michelob Ultra in the first week or so of the boycott. No one really cared. Their sales were up. Busch Light was up. Then I think people realized, hey, this is all Anheuser-Busch. Now we're seeing some of the lesser brands,
obviously,
or the other brands,
there is
are seeing a slight
something
recovery.
In this direction. I should be entertaining.
Not Bud Light. He says Bud Light sales bottoming. You could say Anheuser-Busch maybe, but take a look at this. 27.7% down.
I know I need to get up there.
That is so apocalyptically bad. And this is only a month of data. It says to May 6th. Absolutely incredible. It's going to keep happening because Bud Light disgusts people. This is the issue. You know, I try to avoid roping Dylan Mulvaney into this, but this is what people see when they think of Bud Light. I ask some people.
So if it's not up there, it's down here.
I mean no ill will towards Dylan Mulvaney. I don't like Dylan Mulvaney. I think Dylan Mulvaney is an evil individual. I mean that. I don't like using the word evil, and I don't take it lightly. But Dylan Mulvaney represents manipulation of the public for profit. I do not believe Dylan Mulvaney is trans. I believe Dylan Mulvaney is no different than any other actor getting surgery to appeal to people on camera. I think Dylan Mulvaney is an evil, evil person. And but other than that, like, look, I'll call a lot of people evil. I don't wish them ill will or anything like that. That being said, I think the reason Bud Light sales are dropping is that people are disgusted by Dylan Mulvaney. I'm not saying it to be derisive, to be mean to Dylan Mulvaney. I say that because I asked people. You know, initially I was saying it's because people don't want to look effeminate. I think a dude who's going to a baseball game doesn't want to be seen carrying around the beer associated with being a homosexual. So these guys want to go to the game, they want to rib with their buddies, they want to laugh, and they want to be manly, and they want to impress women. And they don't feel like they can do that with Bud Light. I still think that's true. But I had a lot of people tell me when when I'm going out, hanging out on the weekends and stuff like that, I ask people, like, these are strangers too. And I'll say, like, what do you think about the Bud Light stuff? And they'll be like, ooh. And then they'll be like, oh, you're not going to drink it? And they're like, nope. And you know what I heard from a lot of people? It's because the thought of Bud Light disgusts them. I thought that was very interesting. I was like, disgust. I had one person overtly say it, but the attitude of many people was like, ugh. It wasn't so much like, oh, no, I don't do that. That's not me. It wasn't so much like, I want a manly beer. It was, ugh. I think Dylan Mulvaney is a, I think it was said by other people. Someone...
You create. You innovate. You build. ACU care about the small things so you can build tomorrow. We help more than half of the world's top manufacturers to create life-changing technology, from prosthetic limbs to clean energy solutions. Our components support companies building a better future.
Really?
With over 500,000 precision components, unlimited innovations through custom manufacturing, clear and accessible technical support.
Really?
24 hours a day,
okay.
365
fine,
days a year. Components delivered. Accuracy delivered. Building tomorrow.
This is a renewed smartphone, sold on back market by expert refurbishers. Wait, give me a second, you'll rethink refurbished. Promise. Like all electronics on back market, this phone's been carefully tested and looks like new.
So like
for up to 70% off the price of new. It also comes with a 1-year warranty and a 30-day hassle-free return policy. Oops, gotta get that. 5 million people have bought their devices on back market. It's your turn.
Someone was mentioning, Washington Post columnist said,
Go, Leon, you can make it.
Strange, off-putting Audrey Hepburn act is, they didn't say disgusting. They said, like, off-putting, I think is the way it was described. I could be wrong. Off-putting or something, or attracting no one. I think the fake man pretending, it's like drag Audrey Hepburn. I think that grosses people out. And so this is what people have told me. The thought of getting a Bud Light just makes them grossed out. That's the association of Bud Light right now, and that's why people don't want to buy it. This past weekend I went to a liquor store, I've said this a few times, and they had on the windows Bud Light sale. It was like $17 for a 24-pack. Cheaper than this one. This one says $19.99. I don't know how much a 24 of Bud. Oh, this is an 18. Really? 18 cans? $20? Seems a little high. I don't know how much it normally costs, but you can see here it's on special because nobody's buying it. When I was at the liquor store, some lady was buying a bunch of Bud Light, probably because she didn't know and she didn't care. That's the thing about most people. Most people don't know and don't care, which is why I think this is going to get worse. They're saying it's bottoming out. I don't think we're going to see as big of a spike. Where, when Kid Rock does that video, there's a huge drop-off. More and more people start talking about what's going on.
Fine.
And then over the past few weeks, it gets worse and worse. And it's the worst it's been in the past week. However, I do think that what we are going to see, especially with the 4th of July coming up, is a major drop-off year over year. Regular people are not going to come back to this brand. Because Bud Light,
a little bit slow there, Leon.
Clydesdale thing. But they didn't apologize. They did not step away. They leaned in and laughed the whole time. It's the most infuriating thing. And so they dug their own grave. Bud Light wanted to embrace this. They say privately it was one campaign, it'll never happen again, but publicly they won't say anything to us.
I knew it was
they won't say we're sorry. They won't say let's get back to being an American brand. Well, Bud Light's owned by a Dutch company or something like that? InBev? So they won't. Yingling will. Yingling posted a picture of the can being held up by next to an American flag. Yingling, you got to expand your operations and distribution across the country to make it bigger. But here's what I think is going to happen. That woman I saw buying Bud Light, she didn't know about this. She didn't care about this. But eventually, someone's going to show up with a bunch of Bud Light, and they're going to walk into the backyard like, I got the beer, and they're going to go, oh, you bought Bud Lights? And they're gonna go, yeah, you guys don't, no, you know, like, dude, get out of here. No, I'm not drinking that stuff. I think we're gonna see a lot of that. I mentioned this too a couple weeks ago. I was at an event, and they had a bar, and the beers are lined up on the counter, right? And I said, when the guy opened the fridge to get me a Yingling, I can see the Bud Light in the fridge, and I was like, oh, you're not putting the Bud Light out? And he's like, no, I mean, if somebody asks for it, I'll sell it to him, I guess, but no, we're not putting it out. I thought that was hilarious. And he was just like, no, we don't want to put Bud Light out. So eventually, just get rid of it. What seems to be happening now, because the rumors are circulating that Bud Light is giving away rebates. They're basically trying to give the beer away for free in a desperate attempt to make sales look like they're recovering. Good luck. Now, of course, Miller Lite's getting dragged because they apologized for using women in bikinis.
It gets a terrible story. Like you just come out and walk around.
You know what they should do? Miller, I got an idea. If you want to sell beer to women, here's what you do. You take a classic beer commercial with busty women in bikinis walking up carrying the Miller to the guys, and you gender swap it. Everybody would find that funny and fun. Having like some women sitting in you know, like two women come into the backyard and they're just like, let's crack open a Miller, and they do, and then all of a sudden there's like ripped dudes in shorts being like, what's up, girls, you want a drink? And they're like, yeah, that'd be hilarious. Instead, they do this weird feminist thing
Mr. Crow.
with this like racist woman, and she's like, they made us wear bikinis. Can you believe it? Oh yeah, women are so dumb. They think when they personally buy a bikini, they're being forced to do it. I love the marketing strategy of all these companies. Look, Bud Light may start recovering a little bit.
I'm doing really well.
Some people probably buy it because they're embarrassed. Some people
totally don't need help, but if you want to give me help,
I think they'll never recover. I think they'll recover a little bit. What I mean is they'll never go back to where they were.
Destroy
Bud
the
Light is a
balls.
disgusting brand now. And all anyone can think about when they think of Bud Light is Dylan Mulvaney. Dylan Mulvaney is nails on a chalkboard, and that's putting it lightly. Nails on a chalkboard. That's the whole, like, the commercial where Dylan's, like, twitching. Like, I don't... Dylan, well, like, twitching forth, and I'm like, what is this? It's like, at least the feminist thing I can understand. Like, women don't want to be objects, we want to drink beer. And I'm like, okay, I get it. I don't really care all that much. I think it's a dumb commercial, and I don't want to drink garbage. They're going to compost, if you didn't see it, they're going to compost the Miller ads and beer ads, and then grow hops from it. And I'm like, that's disgusting. There's chemicals in that paper. Please do not do that.
Disgusting eggs.
That's apparently what they're going to do. So, sure, dyes and chemicals in your hops. And they're going to donate the hops to lady brewers so they can make cheaper beer or something. And I'm just like, okay, so now I've got to avoid women breweries because you might have garbage hops in the beer? I don't want that. Sorry. That's just gross. But anyway, at least I understand that. The Dylan Mulvaney thing is just nails on a chalkboard. And as I've already stated, a lot of people tell me they're disgusted at the thought. And that when they look at Bud Light, this is what they imagine. They think it's gross.
Well,
Again, I am not saying that about Dylan Mulvaney. Dylan, do whatever Dylan wants.
I'll take
I'm
you.
just saying that's what I've heard from people. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 6 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you over.
Nope.
Sorry. Are you even feeling this?
Why, hello, Jay.
Oh, great. Another Black Spine episode. This is the worst thing we do. Let's get it over with.
Wrong! We are doing another Black Spine episode, but this time there's a twist. I present to you Black Spine Jenga.
Jesus Christ. What are we doing?
I don't know. Each day gets more and more embarrassing.
Yep.
Well, Jay,
I'm going to assume that you and our audience knows the rules to Jenga. Actually, we'll call this something else, because Jenga is a trademark. I present to you Junka, because all the tapes are junk. Junka is played much like Jenga. Each player removes one tape at a time from any level below the top, using one hand
Totally end it.
Then, instead of placing the removed tapes back on the top, a copy of
I now have no ammunition.
The removed tapes will then be added to each player's pile. The player that causes the tower to fall will be the loser.
No ammunition, no knife.
Be rewarded by forcing everyone to watch all of the tapes he's pulled from the Junka pile. Well, like a normal Black Spine episode, the tapes have no labels on their spines. Some have information on the face of the tape. Some are completely blank, and we have absolutely no idea what's on them.
Stupid.
It could be a movie, it could be an instructional video, could be filthy porno. There may be a copy of I Want to Butt Your Grandma in here. We don't know.
Bud Light is culturally dead.
I think we've got to do with a moment's reflection. Can I go in here? No, I don't think I'd. Yeah, I don't think I want to go in there right now. I know I've got two, like, F8 sprays, but... Oh. Oh, no. Don't mind me, dude. My cornhole! Just say my cornhole. Sorry, dude. It's caught you on the shit. Neither of us wanted the situation to go down like it did, but, you know. It's just, you know, sometimes things happen. Okay? Your cornhole be damned.
Not too shabby. Someone has shown up.
That's
neighbors.
Exactly the kind of thing a normal person would say. Okay, I'm getting a very... Oh no. Oh shit. This looks like a... This looks like a me and Lewis not trying to die situation. Yeah. Fuck yeah, I'll take your record. You see me? I'm in a very egg positive mood right now. Yeah, that's what you got. Hand grenade. I always love it when I'm given an abundance of... Okay. I know I'm going to go upstairs and a cutscene's going to go and I'm not going to be able to do this shit anymore. Oh, photo. Yeah, what did photo say? Where are you, photo? Flesh, blood, give thanks. I'm going to assume that's a riddle. Yeah, none of these are screaming flesh or blood. Or rejoice. Yeah, just for fuck's sake.
Welcome back to Piers Morgan Uncensored. In the last couple of hours, Johnny Depp has hit the red carpet at the Cannes Film Festival as his new film, Jean de Barry, opens the event.
Good.
This is him on the red carpet. You can hear at the end of this. A cheer for Johnny. And he got cheered when he went inside the auditorium. But there's been an outcry from Amber Heard supporters and some French actresses with the hashtag #CanYouNot, accusing the film festival of celebrating abuses for 76 years.
Crop.
Now, Johnny Depp
Swine
was
Heard
vindicated at his recent trial in America, with Amber Heard ordered to pay him
Babe.
$10 million and
Okay,
basically
crop.
exposed as a liar.
Pig
So does Johnny Depp
kid.
have the right to relaunch his
Crop
career?
pig kid.
Or is Hollywood being hypocritical by celebrating someone who'd even been accused of such behaviour and, of course, lost a libel case in the UK? Well, Johnny now is Nick Wallace, author of Deathly Heard, The Unreal Story, and the family law barrister Paula Roan Adrian. Okay, Nick, it's an interesting thing. Johnny Depp welcomed like a movie star, as he has been since he won this case in America. Been mobbed, but he doesn't have a completely clean slate. He lost the libel action in the UK. A judge ruled that the Sun, basically, by calling it a wife beater, that they were entitled to do that. So it's messy. And there's no doubt that this relationship with Amber Heard was extremely mutually toxic and abusive. It just comes down to how you categorise who was more to blame and what the abuse was like, which I think your book does in.
Oh, you motherfucker! Fuck you and your fucking fuck you fucked up fucking fuck.
Continue to be fated as a blemish-free movie star in the way we're seeing at the Cannes Film Festival.
Well, I'm sure he would say he had the right to do that, having got the verdict that he did in Virginia, and this huge wave of public support that followed it all the way up to...
Well, what about the other verdict in London?
Well, this is always going to be the fly in the ointment. Mr. Justice Nichol, a learned, respected judge, spent 3 months looking over the transcripts, the evidence, and all the contemporaneous documentary evidence, which he did place a huge amount of weight on. And after 3 months, he came down very firmly in favour of the Sun.
Yeah.
Amber Heard was the star witness in that trial. He essentially believed what she had to say and ruled that on 12 separate occasions, Johnny Depp did physically abuse.
So where does that leave him in the court of public opinion? You've got to say Johnny Depp appears to pretty well be unanimously the winner.
Well, he is the winner, but as you know, it's all about the money, isn't it? And this has now come out of the courts and is now in the hands of the Hollywood studios. Johnny Depp has been on this incredibly well-managed rehabilitation arc since last year. He went on tour with Jeff Beck, was mobbed everywhere he went.
Dior just gave him a $20 million contract, the highest ever for a man with a fragrance.
He's co-producing a movie with Al Pacino. This is a really important step on his road to rehabilitation, opening the Cannes Film Festival. He's got European movie makers behind him, standing ovation in the theatre. What he needs now is to get to Hollywood. He needs Disney to say, okay, you can have a lead part or a bit part in the next Pirates movie.
Paula, should Hollywood or a firm like Disney do that with Johnny Depp? Does he deserve to be brought back? I mean, the hypocrisy of the Cannes Film Festival, it's an incredibly glamorous event. I've covered it many times myself, but they fated people like Roman Polanski, who's a fugitive child rapist, who escaped justice for what he did. So they've got a long history of tolerating this kind of thing. They do say, some of the festival organisers, they prefer to celebrate the arts rather than the person.
Oh,
which is
no,
an
one
easy
of
get
these
out, but some
puzzles.
people do think that. Where do we stand with Johnny Depp?
Celebrating the art and not the person. I would accept that if it was Amber Heard who was on the red carpet. I would accept that.
Why would you?
I would accept that we were celebrating the
Oh, that's
art
close
and not
enough.
the person. If it was Amber Heard,
Surely that's close enough.
L'Oreal contract. I would accept that we were celebrating the art, not the person, if Amber Heard wasn't hounded by 4.5 million people to sign a contract so that she didn't get to partake in the Aquaman 2 role. But we're not celebrating the art. We clearly are celebrating the person, and this is what concerns me, particularly when we know that 2 women a week die because of abuse from their partners. We are celebrating
an American court trial determined at the end of it that
Okay,
they
I
didn't
didn't realise I could.
she was a liar.
Anyway,
By what
we'll not
happened in
dwell on
London,
this.
No question. But the most recent test of the veracity of both of their claims
Strange
about
of
what
late.
went on that marriage
The weak
was
withers
an
and the crops
unequivocal
grow
win
thin.
for Johnny Depp. And he has taken that, as you would understand.
It was a 2-1, wasn't it? It was a 2-1.
Yeah, but he won.
So, in terms of the finances, he came out better than Amber did.
Not the 5 girls.
What Amber wanted was that unequivocal win, the same win that she was able to obtain.
But she didn't get it.
On behalf of the fan, and she didn't get it.
So why shouldn't he be allowed to continue with his career?
I haven't said he shouldn't be allowed to continue with his career. What I'm concerned about is the fact that they're not being treated equally. And what we have is a society who seems to accept that it's okay for a man to be an abuser, but it's not okay for a woman. They have both sent out a joint statement to suggest that the relationship was volatile. They accepted that.
This is when the marriage was settled. But then Amber Heard went out of her way to become a spokesperson for gender-based violence based on her relationship with Johnny Depp. And that is the point at which Johnny Depp said, well, hang on a minute.
And why was she wrong to do that? Why was she wrong to identify that she believed that she was a victim of domestic abuse? As found in the British courts. Why was she wrong to do that?
Why are you keen?
Because she didn't look like a perfect victim here.
Well,
she was supposed to sit quietly.
With respect, hang on.
But she didn't.
Hang on. Stop painting her as some kind of angel. Amber Heard was not an angel. Amber Heard, from everything I saw, did some terrible acts of abuse, both physical, verbal. We saw it. We heard it. We heard the evidence. We saw the pictures and so on. She's not an angel in this, right? The question is, I think, when you get a situation that's messy like this, what happens to the main people involved, right? And you might be right, there has been a double standard. Johnny Depp tonight, we've got the pictures now inside the auditorium at the Cannes Film Festival with this standing ovation.
What could it mean?
One of the first strong pictures hand in hand.
Maybe that injection with the weird thing inside it wasn't good for your blood, Liam. Oh, I forgot to throw an egg at something. Shit. That's definitely going to catch up on me.
Because I love capitalism so much, it brings me great pleasure to read you the news. Anti-capitalist coffee shop shut